Yesterday I had a great experience in jiu-jitsu. It was the end of the night. It was the last sparring session, and I was going with a guy who is a friend of mine, and we spar pretty much every night, sometimes more than once. And we're at the same level. We're kind of rivals and friends at the same time, so it's fun. And I love submitting him, and he submits me on occasion. So I had done a really good job of getting behind him, which in jiu-jitsu is a dominant position because you can choke somebody from the back and do, other types of things. And I had what's called a rear naked choke, which means basically I had my arm locked around his neck, and he had no protection. He didn't have a hand in there. He didn't have an arm in between my arm and his neck. It was just my arm around his neck, and then my other arm was kind of over his head, and they were locked together. So basically, it was just a matter of time, like literally seconds. All I needed to do was kind of sit back and squeeze, and eventually he would run out of air and submit. And I was super excited and just kind of relishing the moment. And then the next thing I know, I feel this pain in my ankles, and I'm the one submitting. He submitted me. And what happened is that while I was all, satisfied with my beautiful rear naked choke, I had lost track of what my feet were doing. And my legs were wrapped around him from behind, which is the correct position. That's the dominant position. It means I have his back. So if you have your legs wrapped around your opponent from the back, and your arms are wrapped around his head or his torso, and his back is pressed against your chest, that's called having someone's back. And you can basically, you can, kill them actually, like if you're in a street fight. But you can choke them, you can make them, submit. So my legs are wrapped around him. But one thing you're not supposed to do in that position, if you're the dominant person, which I was, is cross your feet, because that actually makes you vulnerable to submission. Because if he takes his legs and puts them over your feet and presses down, because your feet are crossed, that you're basically bone on bone with your own shins or ankles, and it's painful. And you're either going to submit or something's going to break. Something's going to tear in your knee, or your ankle's going to break, or something terrible is going to happen. And so you're not supposed to do that. And I completely forgot to monitor what my feet were doing. I was just so caught up with what my hands were doing. And I was like incredulous when it happened. And for a minute I was upset, and I was like, oh man, how'd I lose that opportunity? And then I realized, actually, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that he did that. And I'm grateful that it happened in practice, because in practice, that's where you're supposed to make mistakes. I made a mistake. He took advantage of it, and he taught me a lesson, which hopefully I will not repeat in competition or in practice, right? Or in, God forbid, a real life situation, if I'm ever in one, which I hope not to be, right? And actually tonight, same thing happened, and I was in the same position with the same guy, and I didn't cross my feet. So I've, internalized the lesson. But, and yeah, I just kind of had that realization, be grateful for those lessons. And if I get upset because I didn't get that submission, it's as if I'm telling myself that I'll never have that opportunity again. Like that was a once in a lifetime thing. And yeah, I missed my chance. And that's such a defeatist mentality, right? Like, the truth is, no, that was just one of many opportunities that I'll have to submit that guy and many other people, right? As long as I keep doing jiu-jitsu. So it's just, another stepping stone along the path to getting better. And clearly was something that I needed to learn and need to learn and need to continue to solidify, because, I forgot and left myself exposed. And he did exactly what he needed to do, and taught me a lesson.